What's up, guys? It is October 8th, and we have our catch up with Clayton uh, segment for the day. Um, I went to a churrascaria, which is basically a steakhouse. Think of Fogo de Chão is how it's pronounced, but you probably have heard it called Fogo de Chão. Um, that's essentially a steakhouse where they bring out the meats, it's all you can eat, all that stuff. Um, so it was a interesting experience. So what they do here, and this usually happens with more expensive restaurants, is at the end of the meal they'll usually put on a on the tip essentially, which is it's pronounced serviço, I believe, which you can easily see it and it translates to service. Um, but if you easily ask, you're just like, hey, I don't want to pay for this, that's fine. You don't have to. And they're like, oh, yeah, it's just kind of like there's a suggestion, essentially. And so today I asked for without. And, why would I do without? Well, I got in there, it was like 11:10 ish, I think. And so they take me in, they sit me down. I'm the only one in there because it's kind of early, 11:10 for a steakhouse. Totally get it, totally understandable. But in the back corner of the restaurant, it's a big square setup, and I'm kind of about a third of the way into it. There's like three or four people sitting at a table. Now, I can't really see them very well because there's a pillar in my way. But, I kind of am just chilling there, and then I noticed that like one or two of them are kind of wearing the same attire as the people that work there. So I'm like, oh, maybe they work there. Um, I'm sitting here. The guy kind of comes out. He's like, oh, like, um, what do you want? I order a salad, and then, the meats are going to come out when they come out. And so I'm sitting there for probably about 10 minutes. I'd ordered a salad, a caprese, which is essentially just a tomato, excuse me, just a tomato, mozzarella cheese, and lettuce. And what ends up happening is like I ordered that and I'm sitting there. It's probably like 10, 15 minutes go by. And, I'm not really in a hurry for anything, just kind of observing, being present. And the guy comes back out. He's like, oh, like, like 10 more minutes, 10 more minutes. I'm like, all right, like, totally cool. You guys are just opening. I'm thinking this at myself too, just like, you guys are still opening, blah, blah, blah. Well, like another 10 minutes goes by, and then I see one of the guys that's in that table in the back corner start making his way towards the kitchen. I'm like, okay, yeah, like I can see at this point, like they definitely work there, they have all their stuff. And then I see him starting to like I see him put a tomato on a plate, and I see him put mozzarella on a plate, and I'm like, holy shit, is this my salad? And he puts some lettuce on it, puts some olive oil, and then brings it over to my table. And he's like, "Oh, here's the caprese." I'm like, "All right, cool." Like, blah blah blah. And so then, fantastic meal. Definitely enjoyed it. Definitely worth the money. The picanha, which is top sirloin, absolutely incredible. Everything was great about it. But the point of the story that I want to highlight is the difference, I guess, between American and Brazilian culture. In Brazilian culture, they don't really do tips. Like tips aren't really a thing there. It's more of a Americans do it, so let's put it in here and see if nobody says anything kind of thing, and then we'll do it. And I would have been happy, and I would have been happy to give the full tip. The thing is, though, is that I was kind of sitting there waiting. It was oh, just wait a bit longer, which again, totally cool. Not mad about it, but I just want to put it out there for anyone who's going to Brazil that if you see it's called a serviço. The two things here for you to know if you go to Brazil is one, the serviço, which is a tip that they're adding on for service, and you don't need to pay for it. It's completely optional. And then the other thing is that in Brazilian culture, whenever they're waiting on you, it's a much slower process, especially when you're at like a restaurant or something. Like I remember the last time I went to Brazil, not this time, but maybe two times ago, it took us like 40, it probably took like the restaurant was packed, it was packed. But it probably took us 30 to 45 minutes just to get like a waiter. Then it took another 15 to 20 minutes to order. And then it took like another hour just to get to food. So and there's people waiting around. It's not like, everyone's just slam packed with things to do. It's just a lot more slower when you eat out. So just wanted to kind of fill you guys in on those two cultural differences if you ever find yourself in Brazil. But okay, that was my day today. I'm going to be recording an interview with our first doctor. I'm not going to tell you who because I think this is going to come out before I release the doctor, his name, but we'll see. Recording with my first doctor today, so that'll be tight. And let's keep growing together. I'll check back in with you guys when another thing happens. Have a good weekend. What's up, guys? It is October 9th, 2021, Saturday. I just got back from like a 4 or 5 hour walk around the city, and man, super dope. I mean, area to kind of walk around. I definitely got to check out a bunch of parks that were pretty cool. Get a little bit more in tune with nature. Um, Definitely think I came to the realization that I'm not sure Porto Alegre is the place that I want to live in my life, which is cool, but it's definitely a nice place to visit, check out. Everyone here's super dope. Definitely a lot of people speaking English. Um, still kind of battling. I'm also still kind of battling on a personal note. Shift gears here a little bit. Personal note, still kind of fighting with the anxiety a little bit. It's a lot. It really, it's, I guess it feels like it's almost more luscious in idea than it is in practicality. Um, I do know that this anxiety and this, let's say, worrisomeness, it's, just emotions. And I think it's just a huge change. It's really opening up my horizon and understanding of people and culture and stuff like that. And so I think in the long run, it's obviously for the better. Um, it's really just a present day fight kind of thing. And man, end of the day, really, really be careful what you wish for. Because I truly believe that, you set your mind to something, any human, doesn't matter who you are. If you want something, you're going to be able to get it. Um, it's just if you're willing to go through the process that it takes to get there. And quite frankly, if I'm being honest, I'm kind of questioning it. I think in episode two, kind of talked about this, where it's like I never really thought, or I've never really had the thoughts of like, oh, like, it would be easier this way. And don't get me wrong, it totally would be easier to live a comfortable life. But, I still think that at the end of the day, that's not for me. I like the challenge. At the end of the day, it's what I want. I don't think I want to be numb to reality and just kind of go through the grinds and hustle and bustle of everything. I'd rather experience these ups and downs. Because, like in the episode I talked with my dad, it's like, do you want to live a life that's very flat and consistent, or do you want to be walking the Rocky Mountains where sometimes you got to try a little bit harder and you get to relax at other points? That's kind of where I'm at in my life, I guess, is one of those points where I think I need to just kind of take a step back and look at it for the big picture. There's a thing on Reddit. It's like when in doubt, zoom out. Speaking of stocks and whatnot, and I think I need to apply that lesson to my life, like pretty hard. Because right now it's like, dude, take a look at where you've been. I've it's incredible. I mean, I'm creating the life that I wanted, and I'm committed to it. I think it's just one of those things where you start to get doubts. I mean, not that I'm doubting per se that I can do it. It's just questioning more if it's what I want to do. It's difficult. It's not. I thought it was a lot easier. I thought it was a lot easier than what I gave it credit for. But now that I'm out here and doing it, man, it's nothing to fuck around with. I mean, again, I truly believe everyone and anyone can do it. Um, be careful what you wish for because it's gonna come true. It just comes down to how much you're willing to work for it and how much you're willing to sacrifice for it. And that's a huge thing on itself. I mean, realizing kind of all the things that I have sacrificed to be able to do this, it's pretty crazy from living in arguably the best city in the world to relationships to, you know, everything that you want in life. I mean, a good thought experiment here is, take a step back. You can meditate on this if you want. Close your eyes and think about if you had every single need met in your life, right? Whether it's romantic needs or, and be non judgmental. Maybe, I'm at a place in my life. Well, let's not compare. Be non judgmental about what you want. Maybe you just want one wife and you're living with two kids in a house, or maybe you have multiple wives. Maybe you don't have a wife, you know, maybe you have $10 billion, whatever your ideal world is, imagine it. And man, like, the weird part is once you have all that, it becomes a now what? And it's like we're always fighting for this now what? And I'm kind of experiencing that now. It's like I have everything I'm looking for, right? Like I have the money, the wealth to be able to live in this country for an extended period of time. I have the capability to be moving around and doing things. And it's like now what almost. But I'm kind of, I guess, ranting personally, but I mean, it's a thought experiment. At the end of the day, it's difficult, I guess. And I think I didn't really give the devil his due per se in the difficult nature. But at the end of the day, I mean, I know it's all going to be worth it. And yeah, just stuff to think about. Um, Hopefully that didn't get too sad. I am enjoying my time here. It is a good time here. Everyone's super cool. Going out for hanging out with some friends tonight that I met at jiu-jitsu. So it's all good. I mean, it's just emotionally more difficult than I thought it was going to be. So take that for what it is. If you want something envisioned in your life, and make sure you really want it, because it'll happen. It will happen. And if you're not specific, the key here is to be specific. If you're not specific, then the universe is going to give you something sort of kind of like what you wanted. So stuff to think about for today. So that's the end of October 9th, and yeah, let's keep growing together. What's up, guys? It is October 11th, 2021, and today dropped Hannah Olsen. I guess you're listening to it after, so Hannah Olsen's probably been out for a couple days now, but if you haven't listened, this is your reminder to go listen to it. Super dope podcast. We talk about health, nutrition. We talk about a little bit about spirituality. We talk about the food industry and how the medical industry is all intertwined. So it gets a little deep, but bear with us, and certainly go ahead and fact check a lot of the things we say in there. But I did some research, and it looks all valid, everything we say. But again, do your own research. Don't let me be the one that convinces you. Go convince yourself. But yeah, talking about science, I've been telling you guys that I've kind of been battling. I hate to call it anxiety or stress, but it manifests. It feels that way, but really, it's growth. And what I have come across and made is a series of sounds of recordings that have helped me overcome it. Well, and it kind of ties into manifestation. So let me think about how I want to break this down. Scientifically speaking, we live 95% of the time in our subconscious. This is proven. 95% of our day, we are, let's say, just going through the motions of life. Now, the question becomes well, why are some people going through the motions and becoming billionaires, and some people go through the motions and become homeless? Why are some of us just going through the motions and living out normal lives, and some of us are going out and creating the lives we want? I figured it out. So the next piece of science is when you are between the ages of 0 and 7, your brain is in heightened waves, frequencies of theta and gamma. Theta and gamma are associated with the idea of hypnosis. So if you've ever gone to a hypnosis or you were ever between the ages of 0 and 7, you are in a very hypnotic state of being. And scientifically speaking, this is extremely beneficial for us as kids so that we can learn from our parents, right? Our parents don't have time, and it's not even feasible for them to sit down and say, here's how you act in this situation, here's how you act in this situation, here's how you act in that situation. So what happens is as kids, we are in these very heightened states of hypnosis, and we are essentially hypnotized by our environment. And what happens is we just receive all the information that we're told, all the information that we have received, and we just project that essentially onto our environment around us. And we carry that after, because after those years, we then start developing the brain more so, and our brain waves start to change. I believe they start to move into beta and alpha, but that's outside the realm of this. So now that we're in our theta stages, we're getting hypnotized. Well, um, let's couple that. Let's leave that information at the side. The next element of this is self-fulfilling prophecies. I love using Shameless as an example. If no one is aware of Shameless, it is a TV show. And in this TV show, the characters are always, their last name's Gallagher. Anytime something bad happens to them, it's quote unquote, because I'm a Gallagher. I'm a Gallagher. I'm a Gallagher. And if you watch the show, you will very quickly become pissed off because they constantly are making bad decisions. You know they're bad decisions, but they don't because, quote, I am a Gallagher. So you create these self-fulfilling prophecies within your own head, and they play out with who you are. Now, how do we marry the two of these ideas and figure it out? Well, let's go back to science. Scientifically speaking, you are not always in your alpha and beta brain stage as an adult. You slip into them right before bed. Like right as you fall asleep, you are transitioning into theta and gamma brainwaves. So these are about 4 hertz, I think, to like 8 hertz or something like that. You can double check that. I know 4 hertz is theta waves. So what I have done is I have created some audio and some sound bites, which I'm putting together right now. I'm not sure how I'm going to release them or if I will. Right now I'm using them for myself. And essentially what these audios and sound bites are I am phrases, and then I have layered them on top of 4 hertz, which is theta. And so I say things like, I am wealthy. I am with the person of my dreams. I am, a successful podcaster. I am the best interviewer on the planet. Things like this. I am statements layered on top of 4 hertz frequencies. And what I have been doing is the last 3 or 4 days, I have been falling asleep with these on repeat. So think about this. We are taking I am affirmation statements, layering them on top of the hypnosis frequency, and then just listening to it on repeat. And look, I have only been doing this for 2 days, but all I can say for sure is that the amount of peace that I have felt within myself in the last 2 days has been insane. Like I feel just so much more at peace and so much more resonated with the world. Now, if that's all that these do, sweet. I mean, take that for what it is. I don't feel stressed like I used to over the last few days. A lot of my worry and tension is released within me. So just at a fundamental of that, I think that's super powerful, but let's see what happens. Let's give this, I'm going to test this. I'm going to try to sleep on these for 2 months. And this, we can break down this conversation even further. But this is really moving on fast, but this is huge. I think this is a huge insight. And if you're interested in any of the affirmation sound bites that I've created or how to create them, shoot me a DM, shoot me a message. I'll be happy to share with you. There's a couple different ones. I created one that's just like a bulk of spanning everything from finances to athletic ability to healing to money. And then I also have them broken down into like those subcategories so that you can focus individually on one at a time. I think it's probably best to focus on one at a time, but I cannot confirm nor deny. This is where I'm at in the process. Um, yeah, so powerful stuff in my opinion. Let's see what happens. I feel calm. I feel at peace. Like, and I think if that's all it does, then so be it. But I'm going to be really interested to see how things progress in the next month or 2 months and see what happens. Remember, the goal is to change your subconscious programming and to become, supernatural at the end of the day. So, yeah, let's see what happens. And that was a little bit longer of a recording, but I think it was worth it. And I really hope you took something away from this. Again, feel free to reach out. Um, yeah, but that's going to be the end of our October 11th recording. Have a good one, and let's continue to grow together. Hey, what's up, guys? It's still October 11th. Just wanted to make a quick update that I was wrong about the frequency thing for two reasons. The first reason is number one, humans can only hear in the frequency range of 20 to shit. I just looked this up. Regardless, the point is that the lower threshold of the lowest frequency that humans can hear is 20 hertz. And to think that we're able to hear 4 hertz is just wrong. So, with that being said, found out that was wrong. And the second reason it's wrong is it has something to do with the fact that our senses aren't able to, control, let's say, higher dimensions. I'm not going to go too deep into that because I'm hoping that I actually saw a dope video that corrected me on all this stuff. And I'm hoping I can get that person on to my podcast. I reached out to them and they said that they were interested, that they would check out the podcast. And so that's where I'm at with that conversation. Send good energy towards me for that. And that was the ending of October 11th. What's up, guys? It is October 13th. Checking in. I guess I'm going to start off with the negative. Negative of yesterday. I went and saw No Time to Die, the latest James Bond film. And here's what I'll say. This is coming from the perspective of somebody who has loved James Bond their entire life. I was very, very disappointed in how they executed it. I thought it was just, I guess it was kind of, in my opinion, I'll go there. I felt like a disgrace kind of to the franchise. They did a lot of things that you just don't do with James Bond. And I'm going to stay away from spoilers because if you want to see it, go for it. It's still a James Bond film, but, I think they went the PC route with it. Hollywood always has to be on the frontier of being the most politically correct. And, quite frankly, it got to me because I identify, let's say, with James Bond from childhood, and it was a big part of my growing up and everything. So I think it hit me pretty hard. But let's. I think the villain is super cool. I guess I don't know. It's kind of bizarre how it all unfolded, and I like the concept of what they went through, but I think two things could have happened. Number one, I think they could have stretched it out over maybe 2 films. The entire thing pretty unraveled pretty quickly. And again, the whole political correctness thing, like, the whole political correctness culture is going to ruin, our culture. But end of the day, what can I do about it? And all I can do is, I guess, tell you guys, I feel like it made it kind of choppy is the way. It didn't really flow like a James Bond film. It was kind of, the best way I could describe it was choppy. Again, with that being said, still love Daniel Craig. Dope job as Bond. We'll see what happens with the franchise. They keep going down this political correctness route. Might have to just stick to the old ones, and I don't know. Well, if you're a James Bond fan, reach out. We can talk about it. Positive stuff. I don't know. I think I need to start waking up early. I've kind of been getting into this slump of just, the universe will take care of me, bro, kind of vibe. And I think you need to at least put it out there and meet it halfway, right? It's not just going to do everything for you. So I think I need to start waking up earlier. I've kind of just been waking up whenever, and I think it's dragging my days out. And it's it's good to relax, don't get me wrong, but I think I'm starting to overdo it, and I'm starting to get anxiety that is telling me that I'm overdoing it. So yeah, I think I need to start waking up earlier, stay off my phone for like the first 2 hours, invest more in this podcast, I don't know if that means monetarily or if there's a way to advertise it for free, but I'm gonna have to look into that. But case in point is I need to look into that. The other thing is I think I need to go start doing the public meditations more. Yeah, I found a dope park in Minas de Vento. If you've seen my snap, I've been there a couple times now, or my Instagram. Um, yeah, regardless, I don't know. That's my October 13th, and I feel like this is gonna end up being a pretty long recording. So, regardless, see how it comes out. Shoot me any messages you have. Yeah, but other than that, let's keep growing together. Having a super dope time with the podcast and everything. Let me know if there's any guests you want to come on, want me to bring on, or people I should reach out to with similar ideas. Again, please share all this stuff, like it, boost me on all the on all the platforms. Because obviously, who doesn't want to be heard by millions? But yeah, so let me but just definitely share. At the end of the day, all I care is that this word gets out about, not this, but the episodes. Let's say if you hear something that resonates with you or other conversation, please share that stuff. All right, I'm not going to drag this on too long. Thanks, guys.